Hi, I'm Clarice Tan, and I give you real insights into real estate. Remnant land in Singapore, the hidden gold mine most property buyers don't understand. Have you ever walked past a landed home in Singapore and noticed a strange strip of land by its side, or like the odd shaped land that doesn't seem to belong to anyone? So what if I told you that these seemingly odd, useless pieces of land can actually add a lot of value to your property? It can add you hundreds of thousands to your landed property. So today we're talking about remnant land and how it can help you make money. Most buyers have never heard of it, and many landed homeowners don't even know it exists. If you're buying or selling landed property, understanding remnant land could help you obtain more gains on your landed property. So let's dive in. So what exactly is remnant land? In the past, when developers had to develop new landed property, so they were required to have a certain amount of space for the fire access routes. Regulations changed over the years, and now they are not required to have that much of a space.
Here are other examples of remnant land. Some of it is due to government's redevelopment of the land, and there's like land left over after the redevelopment.
I have a neighbor who lives down my road, and he was the developer for that row of terrace houses. I'm on the corner, and by the side of the two corner terraces, there's like land, quite a huge piece of land actually. It was this developer neighbor who told me to go and buy the remnant land, which is why I knew about this, and I approached SLA to buy the remnant land. Due to the changes in the laws that do not require that large of a fire escape route now, and for other reasons, the land can now be released for private ownership. So they often sit immediately beside or behind landed property. And sometimes they come in the odd shape of a triangle adjacent to the landed home. And sometimes homeowners would plant shrubs and trees on that land, but that land actually officially does not belong to them until the state sells it to you. This is where things become interesting, right? So imagine your terrace house sits on a land that is 2,000 square feet. Another plot of remnant land that is like maybe 250 square feet along the side of your house, or maybe at the back. If you can add that to your primary land, that's going to be 2,250 square feet. So in Singapore terms, that's a lot of money, assuming the land prices are now at least $2,000 per square feet, right? And a larger land size means you can do a lot more to your land. You can increase your redevelopment potential, improve the property shape, create more outdoor space, like for you to have a larger garden, or you can build a swimming pool, right, with that extra land, or you can just make the house more attractive to future buyers. You know, the prospect of owning more land is very attractive, right? So in landed estate, that additional land could potentially add substantial value to your house. So I know it sounds enticing and you want to buy the remnant land, but the question is, are you eligible to buy? So can anyone buy remnant land? The short answer is no. SLA website explains that these plots are meant to be amalgamated with the adjoining private lands to optimize their use and enhance economic value. So not everyone can buy the remnant land unless you own the adjoining primary land next to it. So if the plot only touches one private property, say you're at a corner terrace and then there's a plot next to it, then SLA would sell directly to that owner. But if multiple adjoining neighbors want it, meaning their lands are next to that adjoining land, not just yours, then SLA will have to open up a closed tender process, and SLA will award it to the highest bidder. So the tenure of the land would automatically match the tenure of the existing adjoining private land. So perhaps you want to know what is the cost of the remnant land. As of 2022, SLA computes the remnant land based on 100% of the full land value determined by applying the factor of 10/7 to the applicable land betterment charge rate, the LBC rate, as it's commonly known. So I have personally bought the remnant land straight next to the length of my house, as I mentioned before. So the formula that SLA uses sounds complicated, but based on my personal experience, when the land in my area was going for 2,000 PSF in the open market, SLA offered and sold that land to me at about 1,000 PSF per land. So this means it worked out to about half the price of the market value of the land at the time when you're buying, right? So SLA actually offers you to buy the land at a good price.
Here are the other transaction charges related to purchasing the remnant land. When I bought my remnant land, the survey fees was about $1,000.
So the entire process took several months because all the agencies such as the NEA, the National Environment Agency, the SCDF, the Singapore Civil Defence Force, the BCA, the Building Construction Authority, the URA, Urban Redevelopment Authority, the SPF, the Singapore Police Force, the SLA, Singapore Land Authority, and PUB, the Public Utilities Board, all had to sign off on the offer letter. So all the agencies have to sign off before you can buy the land. So that's why it took time. The offer letter also came with conditions, the most notable one being that we had to amalgamate the land as soon as possible. So let me know in the comments below if you're interested to look at my SLA offer letter to buy the remnant land, so you can take a look at the terms and conditions. After buying the remnant land, some of you seasoned property owners, property investors would ask, do I need to pay the additional buyer stamp duty? Because even for Singapore citizens, when you're buying the second property, you have to be, you'll be slapped with an ABSD of 20%, and that's quite a hefty sum to pay, right? If you're buying the remnant land, it's considered a second property, so naturally you have to pay the ABSD. But technically you don't have to if you get a remission from IRAS. So what's going to happen is after you take up the offer to buy the remnant land and you exercise the offer, within 2 weeks you have to pay the stamp duty to IRAS, the ABSD. However, IRAS allows you to have a remission on the stamp duty as long as you can produce a letter by SLA saying that you wouldn't be independently developing that land, but you would only use it to enhance the economic value, which means you have to amalgamate that land with your primary land.
Here are the 4 conditions set out by IRAS for the remission.
As long as you do that, and SLA is satisfied that you are going to do that, they would give you that letter, and you can send it to IRAS for a tax remission. So, real insights into real estate. I hope you have benefited from my sharing, and see you in the next episode.